After generating a great deal of hype from gamers, the Plucky Squire is finally out on all platforms, and it's time to find out whether it meets expectations. We'll share what we learned in a week of playing through this game, and by the end you'll know whether this game is for you. We've had so much fun this past week playing this gem of a game, and we're excited to review the details with you. The Plucky Squire is the latest title from Devolver Digital, known for the famous Hotline Miami series, Cult of the Lamb, and many others. This new action-adventure game sees you play as Jot, a hero from a children's storybook, who sets out to defeat the evil wizard Humgrump and save his homeland of Mojo. The game takes on a whole new dimension when you get thrown out of the storybook and find yourself rapidly switching between the 2D and the 3D worlds to solve puzzles and advance in your quest. From the moment I jumped into this game, I was blown away by the colorful and vibrant graphics. They really nailed the storybook aspect of this game. Honestly, while playing this, I felt like I was a kid again. The whole game felt cute and whimsical. The dialogue is so well written and eloquent. It's also funny and often self-aware. This game just put a smile on my face from the start. I also really enjoyed the music and the voice acting by the narrator.
Now this looked really quite precarious.
Also, accessibility is a priority in this game. There's the option of a more relaxed adventure, and there's help whenever you need it in the game. As you play the story, there's such a variety of environments to explore. Along the way, you also meet cute characters with interesting backstories, and you'll feel like you're part of a big fairy tale. I found myself getting attached to these little characters I would meet and wanting to help them in whatever they needed. I was hooked in this adventure and I couldn't put it down. I just wanted to reach the end. Now, I won't go into details about what happens in the story. That's a joy for you to discover. But I will review the mechanics and the kind of gameplay that comes up as you go about your adventure. The main mechanics in this game are the combat, puzzles, and the minigames. The combat was fun overall. It's satisfying to hit the enemies and see these comic book-like sound effects pop up. It has fun mechanics too, with throwing your sword at your target. There are ways to strategize with this mechanic and try to hit several enemies with your sword at once, or try to hit them again while your sword is flying back to your hand. There's a good variety of enemies, but the combat does feel repetitive after a while, with the sword being all you can use and the upgrades not making a noticeable difference. There is a store where you can purchase upgrades, but in my experience it wasn't that rewarding to upgrade an attack. My fights just didn't feel that much faster. I also would have liked having more weapon options, or the ability to blow up enemies when there were a lot of them in one spot. I think there would have been potential there. Combat in this game is more on the simple side. A huge part of this game is puzzles. They're at every corner. When I was watching the trailer for this game, I didn't realize just how puzzle heavy it would be. You'll go from replacing words in the story to change the environment, to placing objects strategically. The difficulty picks up a lot at the end, where you're really working on them for a while. The cool thing is that there's a character who will give you huge hints if you're stuck, so it's good to have that option, but you can also challenge yourself and not talk to him. The word-related puzzles were honestly so much fun. It's so satisfying, especially later in the game, when you figure out what word you needed to put in the sentence and make everything work. And when you do place the word, you'll see the environment change accordingly. It looks almost magical. Now, the minigames were the most exciting mechanic of the Plucky Squire. At times where the combat, platforming, and puzzling was getting a bit repetitive, a new minigame pops up and it's a whole other experience. With nods to other games you may have played before, these minigames are fun and really add something to the game. And they've got a wide range of minigames, so I know that you'll enjoy at least a few of them, just like I did. Also, if you're getting stuck on a minigame, there's no stress, because you can always just skip it. Lastly, let's talk about the plucky elephant in the room. How the game goes from 2D to 3D at some points. Was it fun or just a gimmick? The transition to 3D was actually pretty cool. Walking around and platforming in the world of a kid's bedroom really reminded me of It Takes Two, in the best way possible. You get to know the kid who lives here by walking around his desk, and you get to see his art supplies and his little sketches everywhere. Transitioning from 2D to 3D was such a fresh and interesting mechanic to play with. The game introduces a lot of new puzzles and challenges using this mechanic. For example, you'll be able to manipulate the storybook from the outside to get yourself out of tricky situations in the 2D world. Some issues you'll only be able to tackle from outside the storybook. Other times you need to go on a whole quest in the 3D world to find something key to the story. It's cool that every time you have a big quest in the outside world, the environment will change a lot, and you'll have a brand new path that you've never seen before. From there, the mechanics are more of the same: combat, puzzles, minigames, and more platforming. But the 3D world did leave a bit to be desired at times. It sometimes had the vibe of just go and grab this thing we need in 2D. Although it was fun, it didn't feel as adventure-y as the 2D storybook. Especially at the start, I would sometimes get the urge to explore the 3D world and just see what's out there, but the game didn't really reward that exploration. Unless you're out on a specific mission, you will hit dead ends in the world and you'll have to go back to the 2D world. Overall, I really enjoyed playing this game. It kept me on my toes with all the puzzles, minigames, and adorable plot lines. I felt so immersed in the fairy tale world. Honestly, the devs did such a good job creating a world and characters with so much personality. The game played like something from a kid's imagination, and it was such a good way to unwind after a long day. Although slightly repetitive at times around the middle of the story, it picks up again and you feel on the edge of your seat to finish the game. Most importantly, you'll be smiling the whole time. For me, the game is definitely worth picking up. But we all have different measures of fun. So I think you will enjoy this game if you like puzzles, as that's a huge part of the game. Or if you're a younger or casual gamer, since the game makes it accessible to just enjoy the story without worrying about anything. Or if you want something to unwind or relax to after a long day, it's perfect for that. Honestly, I would say that this game could even go in the cozy or relaxing game bucket, because there's no stressor in this game that you have to put up with. It's just a good, relaxing time. And of course, another reason to play is if you like the overall vibe of the game, so the storybook and the childlike elements. And if you're an artsy person, you'll enjoy how the game is full of art themes and references, from painting, writing, to music. I was pleasantly surprised with the random cameos in this game from famous painters. And so if any of these apply to you, then I think you're someone who will really enjoy the Plucky Squire just like I did. On the other hand, you may not enjoy this game as much if you like really challenging games, especially in terms of combat, because this is just not the kind of game for that. Or if you're not big on puzzles, of course. Because they really are everywhere in the game, more than it shows in these clips, so you have to somewhat enjoy puzzles to enjoy this game, I would say. And with that, I hope our video has helped you figure out and get a better idea of whether you should pick up this game. We really enjoyed it, and we hope you will too. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think of the Plucky Squire? Were you as excited as we were? Do you agree with our verdict? Let us know in the comment section below. and leave a like and subscribe to see more game reviews like these.